This is certainly one of the more unusual veggie gardens that I've visited. It's the driveway garden of Brian Bullock, a mad keen hydroponics grower.
Hydroponics is growing plants in water without soil, and the fertiliser is added to the water.
Obviously it's growing well.
Yeah, it's really productive because the fertiliser is in a liquid form, so the plants are able to take it up, and it's optimised to the particular vegetables and to what they need, and even at different stages of growth.
Brian is growing all sorts of produce on a very small footprint, which has allowed him to overcome a lack of garden space for a traditional veggie patch. What are the advantages of growing hydroponically compared to soil-based gardening?
Well, you don't need a garden. If you've got a concrete block, you've got only a small area on a fence or something like that, you can utilise that space. You can grow vertically. You're saving on water. You're using 20% of the water you would use in a traditional soil garden. You're saving on fertiliser. Because the fertiliser is contained within the system, it's not leaching away into the water table. You're using it fully. And you get accelerated growth because the fertiliser is blended to target the plants just what they need, nothing more, nothing less. So they're always at optimum, as you can see. These leaves are perfect.
If the plants aren't growing in soil, what do they get their roots into?
Okay, we just need to hold them in a media. In this case, I'm using expanded clay, but you could use gravel or perlite or vermiculite or a rock wool block. And you just need something to anchor the plant in to hold it there.
And that won't break down?
Yeah, inert and stable. And so, people use pea gravel, or that's very cost effective, or this expanded clay, you can reuse this, just wash it out and reuse it over and over.
Brian's hydroponic garden is a classic DIY project. Made from found and second-hand parts, it's very low cost. The main thing to keep in mind is to use food-grade parts and regularly check the concentration of nutrients and pH level in the system so that plants are getting exactly what they need to flourish.
Take a water sample.
Brian checks his daily.
Which is around about 6. That's perfect.
There are a number of growing methods to explore as well. This setup is called the Dutch bucket method. Take us through the basic process of a system like this.
Okay, so you've got a reservoir or a drum to hold the nutrient solution, and then we're pumping it up through this black line here. I'll put 2 drippers in each bucket, and then it returns through the tap hole in the bottom. And in this case, we've layered it, so we're utilising that water again for this system, and then this returns and down into the drum, and it just pumps around.
Are these containers easy to plant up?
Very easy to plant. If you want to help me, we'll plant this one up now.
Okay, I'll grab this.
I'll just use this net pot to screen the hole. If you could just pour some stones in there,
sure,
please. Rightio. So I've got these broccoli here I was going to plant in here.
And how many would go into a container of this size?
I like to put 2, like one in each corner is a good thing here. So I'll just dig a hole.
Is there enough moisture there to prevent transplant shock?
Now what I'll do now is I'll water them in, and then I'll check them tomorrow morning or something. If they look like they're a little bit thirsty, I'll give them a little bit more, and then within 3 days the roots will be down and they'll be doing fine. That'll do.
And that's it?
We're growing broccoli.
The Dutch bucket way?
Yeah, to grow 2 broccoli, they'll be fantastic.
The broccoli are up and running in the Dutch bucket. But there's an even simpler, passive system that even the most novice gardener could try. It's called the Kratky method. Oh, wow. Look at that root mass.
Yeah, look how healthy it is. We're just starting with a bucket and a lid. We cut a hole in it here so that this goes through. And what I do is I put a drain hole level with the bottom of the net pot on each side so we can't overfill it. And if it rains, the rain won't drown the plant. And so you just plant, in this case we've got celery, so we just plant our celery into there and we water it from the top like this.
With your nutrient-rich...
With the nutrients, full-strength nutrients. So we water it from the top.
Okay.
When it's overfilled, yep, it'll come out the side. So once the roots are into the nutrient, you You only need to top it up like once a week or once every 2 weeks, depending on the weather.
Does it go stagnant?
In warm weather, this is not suited for really hot weather. It does go stagnant, yeah. That's why I like to grow Kratky with the Kratky method in winter only.
Okay.
But you can grow in summer, but it's tricky.
And perfect for things like celery that don't mind wet feet.
Yeah, celery just loves this.
Making the use of vertical spaces is a real advantage of hydroponic growing that I love. Imagine the possibility of using walls and fences to grow food. This looks like a good space saver.
This is great. So we're building on a vertical system. What we do is we pump up to the top and the nutrients go around the system, and with gravity takes them back to the reservoir, and we just pump that around. And the plants are planted into these net pots. And what we do is by cutting a piece of plastic and gluing it like that, we can keep the nutrient level at the right level. So even when the system is off, the plants are just touching the nutrients.
I see.
So they've got their feet wet.
Very neat. And I guess you could grow picking greens, cucumbers, anything like that?
Yeah, for sure. You can grow lots of smaller plants. This system's fantastic for that.
And great for up against a fence. I reckon I've got just the spot at my place to try something like this.
Yeah. In an urban environment where your space is limited, you know, this makes great use of it. Great use of the space.
I've got another project.
Fantastic.
Hydroponics really makes sense for growing food where space is limited. And as you can see, the results can be really impressive. And as Brian knows, highly addictive.
You can grow pretty much any sort of food. Obviously, you're not going to grow a field of wheat or a field of barley, but for your homegrown vegetables, you can grow pretty much everything in hydroponics via different methods, you know.
And you have fun doing it?
Oh, a lot of fun. Yeah, it's so productive. You come home and you can just see the growth every day in the plants.